He's the pot stirrer. He's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host, former NFL quarterback, and Chris joins us now. Lo and behold, I start to, go to Pro Football Talk and read down some stories, and then I go, wait, what's this Russell Wilson rumor? And did the rumor start with you, Chris, that the Seahawks were entertaining the idea of trading him to the Cleveland Browns 2 years ago?
Well, I do believe it started with me, or I don't know if it started with me. And again, listen, this is something that I know. This is not a rumor. This is something that I found out about. I'm going to say not long after the 2018 NFL draft from some people close to the situation, and then had it confirmed on the other side by the other team involved in it, to where I made a mention of this during last season, Dan, and it got no traction. I was like, damn, I just let out some breaking news and nobody said anything. And then it just came out organically again here this past week. We were talking about untradeable players and what we call PFT-OT with Mike Florio. And, we went, Russell Wilson is one of those untradeable players. And I brought it up again. And I said, hey, the rumors out there are the things that I understand. I shouldn't say rumor. What I know is that, yes, there was talks a little bit between Cleveland and Seattle, and Cleveland giving that first pick of the draft for Russell Wilson. I don't know who struck up the conversation. I would imagine it was Seattle. I mean, it makes sense. Again, Seattle, they were debating on, did they want to make Russell Wilson the highest paid player in football? And I think also added to that, hey, they have an incentive to build the team the way they did originally with Russell Wilson. They saw, hey, if we can get a quarterback on a rookie contract and build it through our running game and our defense, that was successful then one time around already before. So I just think, it was something that was thrown out there. I don't know how serious it ever got, but I do know that that was a very real conversation.
And I understand the philosophy behind the Seahawks, and I agree with you. I mentioned that if you can start over again at that position and build your team like they did when they had the Legion of Boom, that makes a lot of sense. The biggest question I have is, who was Seattle going to take with that number 1 overall pick, Chris?
I don't know this for sure. Okay. Like but I've been led to believe it was Josh Allen. That's what I was led to believe, that Seattle had their eye on that,
Wow.
which makes sense too, because he has a little of that Russell Wilson-ish quality, right? Where, hey, obviously it's a little raw still with Josh Allen, but got some big time ability. And I think they probably looked at it like, hey, we could get this guy to hand the ball off, take a few deep shots down the field. He'll scramble and make a few plays every now and then. So that makes sense. But I can't confirm that aspect of it, Dan. I don't know that for sure.
I think Russell Wilson ends his career with another team. What do you think?
I wouldn't be shocked. I think that's a very real possibility. Especially if Pete Carroll and John Schneider are still there, I mean, to the point that you made just a minute ago, I think they have a true belief in that. And honestly, Dan, I'm not so sure the NFL is not going to go this way a little bit anyways. Who are the Rams negotiating against to give Jared Goff $33.5 million? Or some of these other contracts that are being thrown out there? They're negotiating against themselves. And with the influx of talent we see at the quarterback position every year now, and football being so popular for so long, and our best athletes want to play quarterback, I would think at some point the quarterback market is going to come down to reality a little bit. To me, it's gotten crazy. Some of these quarterbacks are making 8 and 9 times more money than some of the best players that are also on their team. And I wanted to say, Jared Goff is not 8 times better than, Robert Woods, who plays wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I never understood that. The next guy up doesn't deserve to be the how did the owners finally got around to saying, we're not going to give guaranteed money to, first round draft picks. We'd give $50 million to Sam Bradford, who hadn't proven himself. To me, it was crazy. They finally, got slotted and, made some sense here. At what point do the owners just say, we're not, now I know that sounds collusion, probably is, but we're just not paying the next man up. He's not going to be the highest paid quarterback in the game.
That I agree. I have this conversation with my coach friends all the time, Dan, and I think they do. They look at owners and, some GMs a little bit to go like, hey, at what point are we going to draw a line in the sand? Like nobody on the edge of a deal, or nobody should, the next guy up, right? Let's just say with Aaron Donald. Like, I don't care if he's the next guy up and he's really good. Nobody's as good as Aaron Donald. So nobody should be paid more than that on the defensive side of the ball. until they can claim they're better than Aaron Donald. And that's the same thing on the offensive side of the ball. I know it's going to be Patrick Mahomes here soon at some point, but like to me, hey, Dak Prescott, I love Dak Prescott. Carson Wentz, hey, I love him too. But like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson should be the market setters, and nobody gets paid more than those two at the position until you prove that you're better than them. And Deshaun Watson and Mahomes are very close to doing that, or Mahomes already has, and they will get paid. But to me, those are the only guys that should jump them.
But that's part of the problem with Dak Prescott's negotiations here is, hey, what we want to get paid, and we don't want to sign a deal where we're going to be embarrassed by what Deshaun Watson gets and Patrick Mahomes gets. And he's not in Patrick Mahomes' category, and you can make the argument he's not in Deshaun Watson's category.
Agreed.
But
right.
If you keep saying, hey, I want to be the next guy up, but don't embarrass me when all of a sudden these other guys get their contracts here. I'm also curious what happens to the quarterback after Patrick Mahomes. What is he asking for?
Well, exactly right. I think Mahomes has a chance to kind of blow the market, into another stratosphere to where that might happen, like to what you're talking about. That next guy up, I think there might be a line drawn in the sand that finally says, no, like, let's get real. You're not Patrick Mahomes, whoever you are, and we're not going to pay you that much money. I'm with you, because what are we going to do? Start getting into like $45-48 million a year for the quarterback position here in the next 2 years? Because I would expect Mahomes get something within the low 40s per year type average when he does sign.
We're talking to Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host the story with James Harrison, the Steelers, and Mike Tomlin. Did Mike Tomlin hand him an envelope full of money? Was it a check? Did he write out a check? Did he pay his fine when he hit the Cleveland Browns wide receiver here? Was he joking a little bit? I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, Chris, because he's put Mike Tomlin. Well, I think he's trying to compliment Mike Tomlin as being a player's coach, and he's got your back ultimately. He's put him in a pretty delicate situation here. What do you do if you're the NFL?
The NFL is in a tough spot here. There's no doubt about it, and I'm sure that they're going to probably try to take some action. I would think. I don't know what that would be. Some sort of fine on the Pittsburgh Steelers or maybe Mike Tomlin. But yeah, James Harrison. I agree with you. I think he was trying to show something positive about Mike Tomlin, and it backfired, and now it makes the Steelers and Mike Tomlin look not that good. Here's the simple reality of this situation. I don't give a damn. I'm glad. I hope Mike Tomlin did pay his fine. Who the hell cares? This has been going on in the NFL since the 80s. I was on teams where I saw this happen, not necessarily coaches paying, but players who were making a lot of big money. Oh, this guy got, a huge fine from the hit. And if the defensive guys thought, it wasn't that bad and we like to play that style, they'd pony up some money and help that guy out to pay that fine. So it's a very common thing for this to happen in the NFL. I mean, I know Joe Montana did it back with the Kansas City Chiefs with Neil Smith. I've heard him tell that story. So this is something that goes on. It's just the first time I think we've heard a head coach being implicated in it. And Mike Tomlin's in a tough spot here.
Yeah, I think Sean Payton would be really interested in what the NFL does.
Exactly. No doubt about it.
The Cam Newton phenomenon. I don't know if everybody has been this interested in Cam Newton for a long time, but it feels like every talk show host, every analyst somehow has this newfound love, seeking out information for Cam Newton. Like we really, you know what it is though, and we know what's behind the curtain. It's like, this is a great talking point. Cam Newton's a great talking point. I don't know if people really care. If he doesn't go to the Patriots, I don't know if anybody really cares in our business about Cam Newton that way. If he goes to the Patriots, now we have talking points again for another couple of weeks. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't think the New England Patriots is going to happen. I don't. I would be shocked. Just my history of knowing New England, being there, knowing Josh McDaniels and playing for him in Denver. They're very big into, hey, we're framing our team in the offseason, and this is our quarterback, and we're framing the offense around him and for him to be the leader of our football team and all those things, to where I just don't imagine them going down that road with Cam Newton and opening up that can of worms of Stidham versus Cam Newton and all those things. And also, I don't think New England's necessarily built for Cam Newton's skill set either. But I'm fascinated by Cam Newton too, because as we all know, right? I mean, when he's healthy, he's a special football player. And right now, it looks like he's going to be relegated to being a backup quarterback. And my big thing is, Dan, is who the hell's going to even want to sign him as a backup quarterback? Because he's a threat.
Yeah.
There's only going to be certain quarterbacks that can handle Cam Newton looking over their shoulder every day in practice and everything like that. And I think that's truly like Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, maybe Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, I know you throw rifles all over the field. Look at my rifle. Zing, zing, zing. And they won't be threatened by it. But a lot of these quarterbacks, I think, Dan, this will be a huge issue. And it can disrupt your team, because when you walk off the field every day, players in the locker room are going to go, damn, did you see Cam Newton today? He looked a lot better than our starter. Maybe we should start him. And that will divide a locker room in a hurry. So that's really where it gets interesting.
Could you see Pittsburgh bring him in?
Dan, it's a name I've thrown out there many times. I think that is a correct marriage, because I think we're getting down here to the end with Big Ben. I do, and the elbow thing would concern me. The way their backup quarterbacks played last year would concern me, and I think they're a team that's a borderline Super Bowl caliber type football team. So you get Cam Newton in there for an insurance policy to Big Ben, let alone, hey, maybe this is Big Ben's last year, or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe the reins get handed to Cam after that. Makes sense, but I don't know. Do you think Big Ben's one of those guys that can handle that? That would be a question for me.
He couldn't handle Mason Rudolph being drafted by now.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, it's great to talk to you as always. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, thank you. Happy birthday,
Thank
Dan.
you,
I didn't
bud.
get to talk about it. I don't know how old you are. And how dare Todd wears a Texas A&M T-shirt when I come on? I mean, what the hell is that?
That was
What the
completely
hell is
unintentional. That was a little rude.
Well,
I just
a little
grabbed a
rude.
comfortable shirt from the closet there, but then I realized you're a Longhorn, and that's not cool.
I'm going to give you – you're going into a headlock the next time I see you. Just so you let you
But
know.
you know
And
what?
deservedly so.
You know what happened, Chris? As Todd gave the horns down sign.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I saw it when he
Okay.
came in. Whoa!
Oh, now it's going to be a headlock, and
I'm
I'm
just-
looking in there too. You get
I'm just
double
playing
whammy.
around. You know I love it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, bud.
See you
Have a good
guys.
weekend. That's Chris Sims,
You
Pro
too.
Football
See you.
Talk Live.